So as I talked about, they come into this world and they're forming their map of reality. And every single person has this, right? Life is just so much input that we all create some map, some understanding of the world, right? A series of assumptions that allow us to ultimately function in life, right? So you're going to form your map. Okay, this fabric here is hard. You touch the stove, oof, it's hot. Okay, now I learn. So you're getting your bearings. You're creating this map. And this is where a child will start forming core beliefs. Okay, you can think of these beliefs as being at the foundation of this map. So the way that we make assumptions is, well, if this is true, then knowing that this is true, then that is true. Then knowing that both these things are true, then this is true, then this is true, then this is true. So think of it as there's a core assumption that happens here at the bottom, and then there's new assumptions, right? A core belief, and there are new beliefs that build on that. It's like a tree in a way. And these core beliefs happen at a young age. Now, later on, these core beliefs are also what lead to a lot of self-sabotage in adults, where they try to stay congruent to these core beliefs, right? Self-sabotage, we think, I'm screwing myself over. No, you're not. A part of you is giving yourself exactly what you want, yet you're staying congruent to one of these beliefs. And I'll give an example after this. But that's their experience. That's their reality. Okay? They're forming all these beliefs. They're creating their map of the world. And they will form these beliefs in two ways. One is through firsthand experience, like the stove example that I gave, right? They touch it, ooh, it's hot. Now you learn, right? There's the map. Let's not touch that again. So you're forming your bearings. But if you had to form your entire bearings just through firsthand experience, you wouldn't be able to, because there's only so much that you can do, so much that you can experience. So the other way that people form these core beliefs is through secondhand experience, where, hey, if someone else has already learned this, let me learn from them. Let me learn from their mistakes, their lessons. So we're always pinging externally. And as a child, you're a sponge. You're taking it all in from anyone around you. Okay? And what will determine if something input-wise enters and becomes a core belief? Well, it has to pass three filters. One is how congruent the person is, right? So we can always sense incongruency, right? When you could say thoughts, words, actions don't align. So say hypothetically, you've never clapped your hands and you've never heard someone clap your hands. Let's take an example, right? So you don't know this. And someone came up to you and they're like, hey, if you put your hands together like that, it's going to make a sound. But you just sense they're a little shifty, a little dodgy in the vibe, a little incongruent. Like, hey, if you, clap your hands, it'll make a sound. Like, I don't know. But if it is congruent, hey, if you clap your hands, it'll make a sound. That'll pass the first filter. The second is how certain are they, right? If they come up to you, hey, if you clap your hands, it'll make a sound. Won't pass the filter. Hey, if you clap your hands, it'll make a sound. Okay, congruent and certain. And the third filter, if it passes the first two, is how much authority does this belief have, right? So in terms of authority, well, as a child who has a lot of authority, parents. If your parent tells you something, well, they have a lot of authority. Well, they're certain, they're congruent, must be true, and we take it on as true. Even though there's no experience firsthand, you will take it on as true if it passes those three filters. So parents is one, teachers, a lot of authority, and the third big source is the classroom. Because a lot of authority also happens through social proof. If a lot of people believe something, well, then it must be true. It has authority. So they're going to be forming a lot of beliefs through that. Parents, teachers, and classroom. And once more, it becomes the foundation of these belief trees. Now, become aware, and this is what I'm constantly doing myself, of on your end as a parent, what beliefs are you teaching your child again, through secondhand experience, what is getting conditioned into them ultimately. And is it beneficial? Yes or no? Because the child doesn't know. The child's just taking in, oh, okay, this, right? As an example, they might, as a core belief, ask themselves, well, what is love? Right? What is love? What is love? What's a healthy relationship? Now, what's the example that's right in front of their faces? Well, the relationships their parents have, right? There we go. What's their relationship? How are my parents together in a relationship? How do they love each other? And from the child's perspective, say they're growing up in a household where both parents are fighting all the time. There's always a lot of drama. Well, what's the child going to do? Okay, well, they're very congruent and certain in their fighting. They have a lot of authority. They are my parents. I guess love equals fighting. Core belief. Well, if this is true, if love equals fighting, then this is true, then this is true, then this is true, then this is true. The whole tree's built on it. And once more, back to self-sabotage. Here's an example. How often do you hear this? I keep falling for toxic partners. All my relationships tend to be very dramatic. We keep fighting. Oh, why do I keep falling for the bad person, et cetera, et cetera? Well, hey, if that's your definition of love, you're going to act in ways that are congruent to this inner map. And that's self-sabotage. Why does this keep happening to me? To stay congruent. And it's scary later on in life to, one, it's very hard to become aware of these core beliefs, and it's very scary to let go of them because when you remove them, the whole tree crumbles. So catching this early on in your children is very crucial. What are the core beliefs? What am I programming into them? Because you're a parent. You're one of the top influences in their life. Of course you're programming them. Whether you're conscious or not, you can either let it happen unconsciously and hope for the best, or try to take some control. Okay. Now, the same, by the way, with this example, say the relationship is the parents separated, right? Divorced or so on and so forth. They might say, oh, well, love relationships is abandonment. And they keep going into relationships later on in life with people who cheat on them, who leave them, so on and so forth. Or perhaps the parents, they're together, but there's no romance left, and they're just friends, right? It's just very platonic. Well, then they might find themselves later on drawn to relationships like that. And again, it's repeating the same dynamics. So here it's asking yourself, in terms of what I'm doing, what beliefs might that program into them? In terms of what I'm saying, what beliefs might get programmed into them, right? A common one is, hey, we can't afford that. Oh, you want to go do that? Oh, that's too much money. We can't afford that. We can't afford that, right? That's not for us. Just saying something like that, think on a core belief, child, sponge, we can't afford that. And say it's said even over multiple times. Well, core belief could be money's not for me. And then self-sabotage, push away money, push away opportunities, stay congruent to the identity who can't afford it. If you make money, now you're no longer that identity who can't afford it. So I got to push money away. Be aware of it. The same with emotions, right? If it's a household that's, say, very negative overall, they might shame a child who is positive, right? What are you so happy about? What are you smiling about? Can't you see what we're going through as a family? Well, core belief there, being happy is not allowed. Being happy is not okay. And then later on in life, very hard to be happy. So become aware. And a good question to ask yourself, and this is what I do, is say someone were to spend time with you in your life, a stranger, how would they come out of it? How would it condition them? Would they come out of it spending time with you in a positive way, right? Will they come out enhanced or diminished? Will they learn something? Will it be for the best or for the worst? Will they come out better or bitter? Something to think about, because that's what your child is going through. Another one could be, how would you do as a coach? Maybe you think, I'm not a coach. You're the coach. Everyone is a coach when it comes to being a parent. That's part of it. If you don't think you're a good coach, well, chances are that might be happening unconsciously. So bringing your awareness is always step one. What are the beliefs in this household? What are the beliefs that we have in this family in general? What are the values that we have? Also getting clear on that, because that will get passed down. If someone new came here, how would they leave? What would get programmed into them?